Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will learn how to create such short animations with the help of 3D Studio Max and Chaos Vantage. Well, the first step is to prepare our environment and work on the objects that need to be animated. The environment I'm currently working on is from our motions asset. The interior asset pack. The first thing I'm doing, and in fact my goal is to close the windows and give the camera a movement while at the same time the position of the sunlight is changing. In the end, I think this will result in approximately something like 4 seconds of video suitable for this kind of animations. Now, if you take a look at the timeline at the bottom in 3D Studio Max, you will see that this timeline is something we can utilize for animation work. Well, it's currently set at 100 frames per second, and the first step is to adjust it based on the length of the animation. So let's move to this lower part and the time configuration section. And if you pay attention to the animation part, we set the start to frame 0 and the end to the frame 120, because the frame rate, which is a frame per second, is set to 30. And if I want to have a 4-second video from this animation, then it becomes 120. It's like a mathematic. So if you notice on the timeline below, it's set from 0 to 120. Well, what we need to do is first I will show you the environment. If you press P and then press Z to get close to the object, you will see it's a very simple structure with some windows. What we want to do is to have the same objects on frame 0, however on frame 120 at the end of the video, I want all the windows to be closed, and I want the camera movement and changing in the position of the sunlight. Okay, great. And now in this state, I will configure it and let's activate the animation part. If you press N, the below line turns red. Or if you press the auto key from the section, it turns red. So the first frame, which is clear, and then the last frame, which is frame 120, here you make your changes. Now, any changes that need to be made are all automatically saved on this last frame. So, the first thing I need to do is to close the windows at frame 120. I will use the rotation section. Now you see X is set to -5 degrees. I will select one of these closed windows, and you will see it's set to -50. So I need to change it to -50. You see now it's closed. This is -30, which needs to be -50, and this one is at -25, which I will change it to -50, and finally this one will change to -50. Well, now they're all closed, and if you pay attention to the bottom part, you will see that by moving these windows, the windows are opening. In the end, when you reach frame 120, our windows are closed. Alright, the next step is that in fact the animation for the window is complete now. And I mentioned that I want to have a camera movement at the same time. So, to have camera movement, if I press C, I can see that I have 2 cameras in my scene. I select camera number 2, which is the one you saw at the beginning of the video. So, this is where my work begins. However, I want camera 2 not to be in the scene at frame 120. I want the camera to move. To control this better, you can select the mode for 2 frames, then press C again on the left frame and select camera number 2. Now it's in wireframe. If you press F3, it exits the wireframe mode, and I will move this aside. Pressing Shift plus F, show the frame, which is my render frame. Now on the right side, if you press T for top view, it shows a top view and you can select the camera from above. I will come here, select the camera, and this is my camera. Well, you see the panel below is still red, and now if I move this, you can see the image here. So let's see if it's suitable or not. And ultimately we can fix the camera in that position. For example, I want the camera to have a position where it moves a bit forward, and now the room is completely visible. Now if you check from below, you see this was the frame 0, and when I move to frame 120, it shows more of the room. So what I want to do is to move it a bit forward and also adjust the camera target slightly. Something like this will be fine. Now let me check to see how it works. Frame 0 and finally frame 120. I think it's not suitable. That's it for this. Another animation aspect remains, and that's for the sunlight. On frame 0, which was set, we move to frame 120, go to the sunlight. Now we cannot select it because if you're in camera mode, we move to the light mode. And for example, I want the sunlight to move from this position to this one. Now if you pay attention, you see the sunlight is moving, the camera is moving, and at the same time my windows are closing. Well, after you have configured your environment and the work is complete, if you press N again, it exits the animation mode. That means if you make any changes, they won't be saved in the animation timeline for you. If you move this again, you will see that the animation mode remains below for you. Alright, now let's go into the Vantage software to see how the scene appears in real time inside Vantage, and start animating and saving the animation easily and quickly using the Chaos Vantage software. What you need to do is open the Vantage software, and from this section, if you press Initiate, it becomes a live link with Vantage. Make sure to activate the live link and from this part, and start the server from the Vantage software, and keep this button always active so that it displays your rendering. Alright, if you move the frame from this bottom section, you will see that it's moving in real time inside the Vantage software. And my windows have closed just as I wanted. However, one thing I feel now is that it needs more focus on the windows. And currently my camera target is too low. So I'm going to try to adjust it again. I mean, I will come back to this part. Go from the light mode to the camera mode again, and press N again to go back to frame 0 where the camera was set. Okay, now from this part you can click on the camera and select camera target, move the target a bit higher. One issue with my camera is that the lines is no longer straight or vertical. To make the camera lines vertical, again I will click on the camera again and select camera from the camera settings that I'm currently bringing up from the camera settings. You can come here and click on guess vertical tilt, or even check automatic vertical tilt. Well, now the setting is done, and again the windows are closing and moving. And the windows are actually closing and moving. And finally, I want to move the camera target a bit higher. I will select the camera target again and move it up a bit. And at the same time, I'm seeing the effect it's creating on my environment. Now let's check this again from frame 120 to frame 0. Okay, well, I think it's suitable now. I press N again to exit the animation mode. Alright, now our work is almost done, and what we need to do is bring some other settings here for Vantage, which are more detailed settings, but we don't need them for now. To animate using Live Link, you can come here. You can come here, click once, and in the settings, you should select the camera, set the start to 0 and the end to 120. Then set the quality. For now, I'm setting it to HD, or you can click here for example, 9020 by 1080, and these settings will be applied. You can lock it again from here. Decide if you want the noise or not. Only final. Okay, reduce flickering and other options. Alright, finally, what it does is that it saves these 120 frames for you in the folder you selected, and ultimately we need to take these frames, which are now in image format, and start mixing them with Chaos Player or Premiere Pro. So it gives you 120 frames and you can mix them yourself. Okay, I'm choosing JPEG, and I've already prepared a folder on the desktop, and now I press start. When you press start, it goes into rendering mode and it starts rendering our work. You can see it's now showing frame 1 of 121, and you have to wait for the rendering to finish, and eventually your frames are ready. Well, okay, our rendering job is done. If you look, you will see that my first sequence looks like this, and my last sequence looks like this, and my renders have been taken one by one, frame by frame. Now what you need to do to bring this into a video format, either you need to work with Chaos Player, or today I'm going to tell you how to do it in Adobe Premiere Pro software. So you enter the Premiere software, right click in the Import Media section and select Import, then choose the Sequence folder. Make sure that the Image Sequence option is selected and click OK. Now you see it plays the video here. If I drag and drop it into my project, then you can see that it turns the sequences into a video. And all you need to do is now to export the video, and you can see the result of your work now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like, please hit the like button and please subscribe my channel. And until the next video, goodbye.